When did you start coming up with the idea of turning this into a film?
I had been working on a project in Holland, writing a film at this film lab in Holland, and it was kind of similar. Had a female main role, but it was quite a different film at that time. And then I got the call that my mother had been killed in San Francisco, and then I came back from Holland to the Bay Area, and I kind of went through a lot of the same things that happened in the actual film, and those events, what happened to my mother, inspired me to write the script for this film.
Okay. And how long was that process? How long did it take to go from the events to actual completed screenplay and pre-production?
I think I started to write the actual script 1 year after my mother died, and then from script we had many versions and stuff for maybe 2 years or something, and then we started to send out after 2 years we started to send out the script to producers and actors and stuff, and we started to get some responses from producers who liked it or didn't like it, and actors, and then we started to put the project together.
Okay. And during the process of scripting this, what was going through your mind, and how were you dealing with it emotionally?
Well, in the very beginning of writing it, it was the most difficult process because it was still very close at the time. It was only a year after, and in a way I was writing to deal with kind of the grieving process. I think writing really helped me with grieving, and I actually structured the film as part of the grieving process. You have this kind of Kubler-Ross thing with 5 stages of grieving. I kind of made it my own, and when I was writing, I wrote how the character's journey, and I structured her journey through the stages of grieving as well.
So would you say it was a way of cathartically releasing the pain or emotional baggage from this? Tell me, where is the situation now? I mean, obviously it's based on your life somewhat. How is the actual case, the legal and all that?
The murder still remains unsolved.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of a cold case now. Mm-hmm. It happened in 2004, and the kind of legal stuff, for instance, has basically been resolved. And but of course, this kind of thing this is a thing that if it happens to you in your life, you'll never forget it. Mm-hmm. But in the film also, I think it says time heals all wounds. And the wound will always be there, but you can the body will heal, and you can go on.
Now, I was watching the film. I felt like there was a level of kind of this with the cinematography and the choice of the framing, that it was very how should I say claustrophobic for the main character. She's constantly kind of in this little box. Was that on purpose, or was that part of the choices you decided to go with when you were shooting this?
Yeah, I mean, we try to because this is all an inner journey for this character. I mean, mm-hmm. We're trying to depict a film about one person's what she's going through, her inner journey, and so we did choose to make it kind of claustrophobic and kind of noirish, mm-hmm. like film noir elements.
Yeah, I sensed that. Yeah. Can you tell me more about the style you chose to go with the noir and the crime drama kind of aspects of it?
Well, like I said in the beginning of the film, she's going through the stages of grief, and like the first stage of grief, which I kind of made up myself, it's helplessness and apathy. When you feel lost, your limbs are loose, you can't move, and it's kind of just very unstructured feeling, and we tried to have that in the beginning of the film. Just kind of, I mean, the first shot is this San Francisco Golden Gate Bridge, and it's kind of in this fog, this mist thing. So even in the beginning, it's very unclear. Everything is very vague and unclear, and we kind of tried to get this feeling in the beginning of the film, because that's also how the character is also feeling. She's vague. She's unclear. She doesn't know what's going on. She doesn't know how she feels.
And how did you manage to get such a a well-known cast. How did you go about getting these actors?
Well, we had approached several Asian American actors. We had approached Teddy Lee, one of an Asian American producer who did Saving Face and some other films, and he really liked the script, and he passed it on to several other people, including an actress called Michelle Krusiek,
Yeah.
and she was originally signed on to star in the role, but she got a television show shortly before we started to shoot, and we kind of had to scramble to find someone else. But even before Michelle Krusiek, we had an audition process, and we had seen like 200 actors and actresses. And it's very difficult to find a good Asian American actors and actors, unfortunately, because that's not a profession. There's a lot of that people choose to go into for whatever reason, which I have my own theory on that. But,
and you got Kenneth
Yeah.
Tsang. He's
Yeah.
a veteran actor. How did you get introduced to him, and how did he get involved?
it was also in our process of looking for Asian actors for the film, especially for the male role, for the father, the role of the father. We had to find a really strong actor. It was really difficult to find here in the U.S., so we started thinking of people outside the U.S. in Asia and Hong Kong and so on. And someone knew him and knew that he could speak really good English, and he was actually Canadian. He got to UC Berkeley actually when he was young. So we sent him the script. He really liked it, and he actually came on board as a producer.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Was that a choice he made, or did you ask him to come aboard?
He actually wanted to. It was his choice.
Really?
He asked.
Wow. Okay. Great. Another thing I wanted to talk about on the film itself was that shot. How long did it take to shoot? What was the budget? Was it shot all here in the Bay Area, or where did you shoot most of the film?
We shot most of the film here in the Bay Area.
Okay.
Actually, that was quite a difficult choice because it's hard to find, like I said, actors for supporting cast and crew for independent film like this in the Bay Area. And of course, there are lots of films being shot here, but it was quite a difficult process. And the budget was pretty small. It was like about 200 for a small movie like this. We shot on Super 16 and finished on HD. And we shot in 13 days, which is, I don't know if you know how long. Normally at least 20 days for a small feature film. For 13 days is almost like unheard of, I think.
And how did you get most of the financing on this? Was it through independent financing or
It was
investors?
just private equity,
Okay.
mostly for private equity. We asked friends of friends and
Okay.
friends and things like this.
And do you have distribution yet, or
No, not yet.
Okay. I wanted to ask you again, go back to the look of the film. So you shot on 16, you said?
Super 16.
What was the choice to go with film instead of DSLRs or any of the latest?
Well, at the
video?
time, there was no DSLR. This was
okay.
3 years ago or something
Okay.
when we first started to shoot. It was
Okay.
shooting was a process that went over a year and a half. We shot like most of it in San Francisco, in the original shoot, but the parts in Mexico were shot 1 year later, actually.
Okay.
So, so back then it was either HD or RAD or Super 16, and when we worked out the figures, it was actually cheaper to shoot Super 16 with the time we had. So that's what we did.
It had an interesting look to it with the Super 16. Again, back to the framing, I kind of liked how it was really claustrophobic feel to it. Was that because you were shooting on Super 16, you were limited to certain lenses or something?
No, we chose to do long focus.
Okay.
We chose to do that because we wanted to really see the expressions on the actress's face.
Yeah, they were really in
tight.
the face. Yeah.
And everything else is kind of unfocused.
Uh-huh.
And that was a choice that we had.
Okay. But near the end, I guess when she's back in Mexico, you kind of have some wider shots. You see kind of some scenery there. Was that because she's free again, in a sense, or what was that?
Yeah, in the beginning it's very claustrophobic, it's very unfocused, even literally unfocused.
Yeah.
You know, and towards the end you get further and further back and you see more of reality. It becomes more real, things are more stable.
Yeah.
So that was a choice.
And now you yourself, you lived away from your family for a long time, and were you not in contact with them either, like the character?
Well, yeah, I wasn't very much in contact with my mother for a number of years as well.
Yeah.
And so but put that kind of aspect into the film as well.
And where do you want to go with Motherland? What are you hoping to achieve here?
Well, like I've had two goals with making the film. One was kind of, like I said, it was part of the grieving process, and secondly, I had wanted to make the film in order to gain more exposure for the actual police case because it remains unsolved. And I was hoping that people saw the film and they connected it with the actual story because the actual story was pretty well known in the Bay Area.
Okay.
And that you never know, maybe some additional leads come up.
Yeah. Okay. Now, you yourself as a filmmaker, where do you hope to go from here?
This was my first feature film, and I'm working on my second one at the moment, and I hope to continue making films.
Do you have any particular genres or
Mostly
subjects?
drama.
Drama?
Yeah.
Okay. Subject matter that you want to tackle?
I like a lot of cross-cultural stories, also immigrant stories, and I prefer to see the kind of the darker side of things. Like, for instance, this movie is about the darker side of the American dream.
Mm-hmm. Now, when you say darker side of American dream, can you kind of define that for me?
Because most films we see about the American dreams or things that we hear about the American dream, it's always the positive. It's always how great it's going to be when you get here. It's like you're selling the American dream. Like, it's, you know, you work hard, you keep your nose clean, you'll achieve the American dream, which is, to many is material success or some kind of success. And but you rarely hear about the consequences or the price, if there is a price to be paid for achieving the American dream, or even, you know, if you never achieve it, you know, you never hear those stories. So I think in order to understand the good, you have to know the bad, you know.